Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Global Intelligence Update. And we've got a great guest, as always, Roshani Shenazz. And for those that don't know who she is, let me just give you guys a quick introduction. So there's quite a lot of accolades and information that I can give you guys. So I dumbed it down a little bit, but if you want some more information about it, check her out on LinkedIn or check out the email that I've sent out. All the information is on there. So, guys, Roshani is an eminent spiritual thought leader, well-being, happiness, D&I coach, accredited premium holistic therapist, and training provider by international practitioners of holistic medicine, and UK awarded author and speaker. That's just the first paragraph, guys. She has made significant contributions to the field of happiness, healing, well-being, and corporate wellness, guiding individuals and organizations through profound transformations and change management. As a social entrepreneur, Roshani is the founder of Meher Roshani Foundation, a registered trust in India dedicated to uplifting communities through holistic empowerment and holistic well-being, a platform for integrated healing and conscious living. Roshani recently got listed in India's top 15 entrepreneurs at IWD Women of the Year feature on the cover of a UAE magazine, iStory for Women's Day in March 2025. So just last month, and many other global accolades and designations of honor, including being the director of India chapter of Unity and Diversity of Global Dialogue Foundation Australia and co-chair of the Golden Door Forum Singapore. How's that for an introduction, guys? Roshani, thanks for joining us during your busy schedule. And also, we had some technical issues. So that's sorted out. Glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. Namaste, everyone. My apologies for this, but I think, as we say, practice before you preach. I think universe always tries to do that. And today, what we are going to share is a part of it because the spiritual toolkit for entrepreneurs is to face challenges like this as well. And it's always, the test is always when you have to pass the grade. And I always say that, homework doesn't make you pass the grade. It is the examination paper that makes you pass the grade. So, how much ever homework you may be doing every day, but when the examination paper is in front of you, if you don't perform there, then, you can't go the next grade. And today's snag is exactly like that. That, I teach. The calm within the chaos, to be the center point of the whirlpool around you. And today the universe had to test that with me itself. So, yes, I think I've successfully passed the test that I ultimately got through
Yeah.
and came onto the Zoom.
Yes.
So, yeah.
No, you definitely passed. We're live. We're on Zoom, and definitely glad to have you here. So, Roshani, I'm
Thank
going to
you.
jump straight into it. I've got some good questions I want to ask you. And for those that don't know, Roshani was in the Indian film industry, and she left that for a spiritual calling to help individuals and entrepreneurs, leaders, and organizations to move forward with transformation and conscious leadership. Now, today, you are a social entrepreneur yourself in wellness and non-profit sectors. So, I want to find out how can entrepreneurs and organizations, leaders, balance profit and purpose? I think that's a big one.
Yes, indeed. So, just to begin with, this sharing today that I have is for exploring pragmatic spiritual strategies that we entrepreneurs, who are seeking both like inner fulfillment and the outer success. And everybody says spirituality is asceticism, spirituality is morose and sad and serious, but that is not what it is. Spirituality actually is to optimize your true self and live the fullest conscious life that you can, which will balance materialism and spirituality, and thereby guide and channel materialism to be able to be utilized consciously pragmatically, and for the benefit and highest best of all involved around us. So, through mindfulness practices and various mindset changes and purposeful alignment and balanced approaches towards our business challenges, technical challenges, we'll examine how spiritual principles in our life can actually enhance entrepreneurial journeys and without sacrificing our practical results or the fun that we have on the journey, the dynamism that we want to portray in the journey, or anything of that sort. So, first, I would like to break this myth because a lot of organizational workshops and all, the first question is, what has spirituality got to do with workplace? What has spirituality got to do with entrepreneurs?
Yeah.
So that's where we begin that it has everything to do with the foundation of who we are. And because it has got to do with the foundation of who we are, it has ultimately got to do with everything that we do in life.
Wow.
So, this big question of balancing profit and purpose is a very, very thin, fine line, Chris, and it's not an easy approach. It's not something that comes easy, and it is requiring, very, very not just mindfulness, but heart-centric commitment to stay true to that path. So I call it the PIP sandwich. Okay. And the PIP sandwich is the purpose focus and the profit focus. And the center is the integration point, the point where it all meets. Now, because we are in a material world and living our karmic lives in the everyday tangible things, of course, everybody first thinks of the profit focus. And so be it, fine. Coming back, that this, what I'm sharing, and spirituality is the core, it's the foundation. And therefore, in the sandwich, the profit focus is the top slice. The purpose focus is the foundation slice. And the integration point is all the masala and the material that we put in between. The ingredients of our everyday wisdom, everyday choices that we make, and so on. So, the profit focus is the traditional business metrics and the financial growth and the bottom line and all the corporate things that we want to talk about that go into creating a successful business. The purpose focus is the big why, as we call, and I always, right from the first workshop and program in Malaysia with Dave and Mike, it was the big why was very, very important. I was at the start of my journey at that time. So I understood, though I didn't know this terminology at that time, but me leaving a very high, glamorous, cushioned career to jump into the valley where I didn't know whether the next foot was to fly or to fall down, it was a big thing. And that's where the purpose focus comes in, which is mission driven, heart centric, impactful, and meaningful first for yourself, not for anybody else. If I am convinced completely of that foundational slice of life, which is the purpose focus, then I will be able to build in and put in the integration point of all those material between the sandwich, which actually give the taste and make it fulfilling and make it, heart filling, stomach filling. And then the slice of the profit focus is got in by default. So if it is, we have these different baskets in life. We have our financial freedom, we have mental freedom, we have emotional freedom, and so on, social freedom. We run individually fragmented in life through each thing, for each thing. Somebody runs behind financial freedom, everything else suffers. Somebody runs behind emotional freedom, everything else suffers. But when you focus to channelize all your energies into the spiritual freedom, then all of this comes by default into that basket. And that's how balancing of profit and the purpose happens when the modern entrepreneur faces this critical question. How can I pursue financial success while maintaining my spiritual foundation and alignment? And then this friction, tension, whatever it is, because there will be, it's not going to be easy, as I said, often creates this internal conflict when business decisions seem at odds with deeper values. But I need to know that foundation slice needs to be grounded to know what until where am I willing to go? What am I willing to never compromise on? And what am I flexible with to change, to maneuver, to make it, integrated with the inhabitancy of my entrepreneurship and my team or whatever that it may be, or my vendors and my clients. And that's how I feel, and my work itself is a very, very big example for me. As I said, that universe always and always, in my earlier interviews also, I've said that today when I'm sitting across the fence to tell a client who comes for spiritual guidance, or an organization who is coming for spiritual and pragmatic guidance and to put something into place, it is not because I've read some books. It's because the universe has always and always put me into situations like today to push a thick rope through a needle hole. And making me do that, giving me the strength and faith and surrender that it will happen. When my values and big why is in place, and when I'm focused to do something, it will happen. It may take time, but it will happen. And that's what I would like to share.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Roshani. Lots of insight there, guys. I have to say, I was memorized listening to that. Um, Next up, you are a mindful coach as well, and of course, mindfulness plays a very big role in our life today. So, can you please tell us, how does mindfulness contribute to be a business advantage, especially in our chaotic lives?
Sure. So mindfulness actually, is a very ironical word. So mindful is actually what we don't need to have. The mind needs to be empty.
Yeah.
And mindfulness is the strategy or the reinventing process that we tell our body, because we have lost the natural processes of our life. We are disconnected from the roots of our natural self. When you say a natural dancer or a natural singer or a prodigy, you mean that they know this or they are expending that talent without being taught that. And that's exactly what our natural self is, the true self as we call it. But because we are disconnected from the roots, the body, the mind, and the energy system needs to be retaught the processes to get into that central core, to get into that inner calm, to get into that inner alignment. And that's what mindfulness does. And mindfulness just doesn't mean sitting for 2 hours in a meditation or chanting or so. Mindfulness is the engagement in every moment of my life. If I'm reading a book and I'm completely into the character, I'm completely into the story, and I'm oblivious of what is happening around me, even if somebody, my family member, is watching TV at that time or anything, then I'm being mindful. If I'm cooking with all my zest and putting in all the flavors of not just the masalas and ingredients, but my heart into it, then I'm mindful of what I'm doing. So, first of all, mindfulness is something that needs to be practiced in daily small habits. Because habit, as a word, which I realize is something that happens bit by bit. And it is not something whoop, big right there. So the process of cultivating and harnessing mindfulness is not straight away sitting for a half an hour of meditation, but trying to see, am I mindful while I'm brushing my teeth? Am I focusing on doing it gently with the way my dentist has told me? Small things. Am I not thinking of worries when I'm showering? Can I think of some nice affirmations that I can do for myself while the water is flowing through my energy? So, bringing mindfulness to a business advantage is that when regular mindful practices, uh, you know, try to be brought into our lives, it will provide entrepreneurs and individuals, leaders, with enhanced decision-making capabilities to, giving them the range of emotional resilience. Today, in the filmmaking, I just wrote a post some time back that for me, during my filmmaking years, 23 years being in the film industry, the biggest filmmaker that I worked with as an assistant director and thereby moving ahead in that company, it was not just filmmaking, it was human management. I saw stories unfold every single day behind the camera. And to know how to manage from a spot boy, the guy who brings tea and snacks on the sets and cleans the things on the sets, right up to the superstar on the set who has his or her own tantrums or own whims. And that human management is required as leaders to entrepreneurs to everything. So the range is vast. And it is like having a very, very flexible elastic rubber to pull. And some are tight ones you can pull only through here. But when you have mindfulness, then your tolerance, your acceptance, your resilience, everything just expands tenfold. And by cultivating this present moment awareness in our work, in our things, in our interactions, in our connections, business leaders and entrepreneurs can develop this, sharper intuition, gut feeling, as we call, reduce reactive, actions in our life. Responses is when we respond. So responding with responsibility is responding. Reacting is rewinding. Reacting is reactions through old activities, through old patterns, through old trapped emotions that we may have, through situations and circumstances that we may have embedded in our cellular body. And thereby, the high pressure situations where we break down. It is like when you squeeze a lemon, you get lemon juice. You can't get apple juice. So when life is squeezing us and entrepreneurs or leaders and work related, even normal peons and managers, if you are not building that spiritual immunity for your inner self, then when life squeezes you or high pressure situations come, and then only the lemon juice will come out if that's what you've been feeding yourself.
Wow. Oh, thanks again for sharing that, Roshani. That's so insightful, guys. You touched management, and on your website there's E2 management. What exactly is E2 management?
Okay. So E2 management is ego-driven and emotional-driven, spirit-led management in leadership. And both go hand in hand. So ego is not just pride and what we think ego is. Ego is also fear. Ego is arrogance. Ego is entitlement. Ego is non-acceptance. Ego is denial. Ego is refusal to change or fear of change. So coping mechanisms of each and every human being is different. There is unhealthy coping mechanisms and there is healthy coping mechanisms. So for example, unhealthy coping mechanisms would be when you say actually that the person who is a bully is actually dealing with a lot of inner conflicts of fear and inferiority complex. So the only facade that it can create in its coping mechanism is to put up that front. Oh, nobody will be able to hurt me if I do this. So the same way, we have different substance abuse, indulgence, avoidance, or over-engagement, indulgence in electronics or indulgence in caffeine or indulgence in any substance. The substance abuse just doesn't mean your normal alcohol, smoking, or weed. So when we try to understand that in our everyday life, we have these things which are the two sides of the coin. Now, which side of the coin I'm using is the life that I'm leading. The knife that can cut vegetables is the same knife that can kill someone. The hot water that refreshes us every morning is the same hot water that can burn someone. So everything is in the duality of life. And thereby, when the selfish ego becomes selfless ego, that transition becomes spirit-led. So the E2 which I talk is the ego management in leadership, of moving from the selfish ego to the selfless ego. And in that, when it is ego-driven, selfish ego-driven leadership, you have the need for control and recognition constantly. You may even bite into somebody's, neck to get up there. It is like the two people. There is one set of people who will draw their line to rise higher and higher. Another set of people who will have this big eraser to erase the other person's line so that it becomes shorter than theirs. So there will always be these elements. Like I always say, we are in this circus. There are all kinds of animals around us in the zoo. I have to make sure that I don't jump into the lion's den and make sure that my den is protected so the lion doesn't jump in. So the management of that part is whereby I am moving away from the need to control or recognition. And recognition is not bad. Then it becomes the selfless recognition that, you are elevating, you are being recognized so that you can do more. That's the selfless ego, which is not doing anything wrong in getting that recognition, but by default, the recognition will come because of the work that it is doing. Then it is defensive responses to feedback. So something, oh, this happened, he did this with this, that thing happened, and I didn't mean that. Immediate defense mechanism on feedbacks. Decision making based on personal gain. What is in it for me? What am I gaining now? It's not the thinking that I am planting this seed and the seed will take its own time to become this beautiful plant or the roses or the flowers. No. Is that an instant seed like instant noodles? Because instant gratification has become huge in our lives. Today, if I tell somebody, please do this affirmation for 28 times and this headache will go, versus a Panadol, what do you think people will take? Right? So we do not want to do substantiate work that will help me go to the roots and eradicate something from the roots. And that's where, again, my values come in, because I do not propagate or advocate any spiritual jargon of instant third eye and instant this and instant. There's nothing instant coffee and noodles in divinity or in our lives of success. It's only persistent, consistent, diligent, persevered, patient work that we need to do on ourselves. Because the only point of change in the universe is I, me, and myself. But when I change, everything and everyone around me can change. But if I try to do the other way around, that I'm doing something to change Chris or change X and change Y, then nothing is going to happen. So another part is difficulty in sharing credit for success. Two people did it together. When ego-driven leadership, oh yes, I did it. Yeah. So this is another beautiful thing that had come once in the meditation, that for all the good things happen, I do it. All the bad things happen, oh, God knows why God is doing this. So if marriage is good, then the parents will be, oh, my child deserved this, such a nice husband or girl. If the marriage is bad, oh, I don't know why God did that to my child. The child gets a great job, my child is so intelligent, he passed the IAS exams like this. But if it doesn't happen, I don't know why God did not make my child pass this exam. So everything that is not good, we have the rifle on somebody who is invisible and non-existent for many. But to our convenience and our gain, we are easy to shoot the bullet from the shoulders and say it is his job or her job. So there is always instant blame and instant credit, which is solo driven. But when it shifts to selfless leadership, spirit led, selfless ego leadership, then the person, the entrepreneur, is comfortable with the uncertainty. I was thinking, oh my God, what will Mike think? I'm not on time. I've not got on time, but I've been here for the last half an hour trying to figure out why my computer is not happening and what is happening with it. But yet, I was comfortable with the uncertainty that God forbid I leave it to the universe. If it is not meant to happen today, it'll never get through, how much ever I try. Because nothing was wrong with my laptop. I was working on it till 4 in the morning. And technically, there was nothing wrong. So comfortable with the uncertainty. Why do you think we all were helter-skelter during the COVID time? Because we are not equipped with failure. We are not equipped with uncertainty. We are equipped only with guarantees. Somebody comes and say, do you guarantee that this will get healed? I said, no, I don't have any guarantee. Guarantee is only upstairs. You believe in a power, then you can come. Otherwise, stay put. I can only say that I have seen that handiwork last 15 years, which has done amazing job. If your time and divine timing is due, it'll happen with you as well. So if you can trust that, please come. So to start asking for guarantees is not when a spirit-led person will be. He doesn't need the whole map. He will drive. GPS does not show you the destination straight away, right? It is taking you lane by lane and road by road and signal by signal. And GPS also cannot work if you stop the car at this red light. The block will stop. And it means that how much ever we can be guided and led, driving we have to do. The implementation and the integration part of that PIP sandwich is our job. The forces can guide us, protect us, be with us. And then to be open to feedback and growth, to have decisions that are aligned for the collective good and not just I, me, myself. To have genuine heart of celebration, collaborations, for team contributions, for partner contributions, and so on. So that's the E2 management.
Wow. Thanks for sharing, Roshani. It's so insightful and such deep content that you're sharing. Really appreciate that. And I see we got some hearts and signs up in the chat there. Thank you for that, guys. Touching on something that you mentioned earlier is the gut feeling. And I think we all love the gut feeling. So what, in your opinion, is that exactly? And can entrepreneurs polish or harness this gift? I'd love to know more.
Sure. It can't get more literal, Chris. That gut feeling is in the gut, because that's where the seat of the soul is. That's where the spirit is emanating its radiance, its power. And actually, in its spiritual essence, it is said and it is known that we live in our spine, as in the soul. The seat is at the bottom of the spine. It's in the gut. So when I say the bottom of the spine, it is the entire gut area of your abdominal, stomach, your sacral chakra, as we call in spiritual terms, which is your energies, one of the key energy centers and vortexes in the body. And that thing which comes out from within. If you ask any entrepreneur, the beginning of that journey of doing something would never be a logical decision. It would have emerged from that within somewhere where you can't even pinpoint of why did you get this idea. You may have a passion or this or that. So gut feeling actually is present, as you said, in all of us. The only difference is some have the lids shut and it's dormant, and some open up the lid with diligent practice and allowing it to speak its voice. So when entrepreneurs, try and make that little effort in going beyond data analysis, seeing is believing, there lies the power, of that entrepreneurial tool, which you can say intuition and gut feeling. And spiritual entrepreneurs, I would call, are people who are developing these practices. Like if you read Virgin Richard Branson's storyline of how this started or that started, you can clearly see it's a gut feeling driving. You can call it whim, fancy, whatever you want, but actually it's not. Even if something fails, at that point in time, you know it is right from where it's emerging and you're doing it. And then with those sandwich ingredients that you're putting, they are wrong somewhere, so it fails. But the very emergence was not a failure. It's like I would say, when we would go to see films and people say, what a, how can somebody make a film like this? And I would say, see, guys, nobody sits together and say, hey, guys, let's make a flop film. It happens. Something is not in alignment. Something is not working. It's 200 odd people on a set that is making a film. It's 200 energies that is making a film. So intuition and gut feeling is a very, very key part and tool for entrepreneurs, for leaders, and for everyday life individuals to harness and to practice and bring it, from that sleepover, dormancy to action. And accessing it is what the practice is. Trusting that intuitive guidance while maintaining the practical business discipline, the pragmatic approach, as I say. That intuition does not mean that you get up one day and say, hey, let me sack these 20 people. I've got this gut feeling that I don't need them. No, that's not what intuition is. And another thing, very, very important, is that true intuition or gut feeling that will come from that spirit, the E2 management, will come from the, selfless ego space of spirit-led, heart-centric gut feeling, will always and always be in lieu of the highest good of all involved in the dynamics of that. So when I say somebody is coming that should I take this job or not? Yes, this job is for your highest good. It's good. Take this job, even if it is paying less right now. Guidance is saying that this will work for you. Now, it means not just that this job is good for you or for your highest best, but you are for the highest best of that company also in that role play that you're going for. There's a purpose why you're being put there, and expend that purpose, utilize that space, honor that space that divinity has brought for you, and live that space to give the company what you need to give with your talent, with your skills, with your work, or anything. So one part of it, the first step I would say, is to create space, regular periods of silence, reflection on that, subtle energy, which is our inner guidance. And it can happen with a very, very simple practice. I call it the silence bank. I have it regularly since years now. And though I have a full day also, but that need not be so. Every day, any part of the day, but consistently that part, not any time, afternoon or morning. Supposing it's night, like I have in the night, 5 minutes of silence. I stop anywhere, even if I'm in the cab returning from somewhere, I'll do that silence. No phone, nothing. And I'll just be in silence. I'm depositing 5 minutes of silence every day in my silence bank. Locker open, 5 minutes of silence gone. After 30 days, how many minutes of silence do I have in my bank?
150.
100 5 threes are 15, 150 minutes of silence. So 5 minutes into 365 days. And that is the thing of doing big things. When I say simple things, a lot of things, because we ignore simple things, because we think, oh, that cannot work. Unless people give big, why are people being misled? Because that's what public wants. People want this big jargon things. Oh, this 2 hour thing, and you do this, and this will come, and then this light will come. I have not seen any light in 15 years. Even when I started soul guidance and all of that, I can feel I'm sentient, I'm cognizant. I get my messages through cognizance, but I've not seen any flashy things. But even without seeing, when you can put in that faith, that's where you are growing. Because the paradigm of life, which we are operating from, is the absolute ulta. We are like walking on the feet, but no, we are walking on the head actually. So we are walking in the paradigm. I will have this, then I will do this, and then I will be this. When I am 20 kgs less, I will do this, and then I'll have this. But the actual paradigm of the universe works with first, I will be 20 kgs less in my mind, soul, body, emotions, and feeling good about my current body as well. Accepting and honoring it for what it is while working towards bettering it. Then I will do the earthly things that I want to, yoga, this, that, walking, diet, whatever. Remove all my emotional garbage that gave me the weight, whatever that I need to do. And then I will have a physical body which may be 20 kgs less or 15 kgs less or 5 kgs less, depending on what integration I've put into that center of the sandwich. So chasing the other way around is a futile effort. So if entrepreneurs want to do something, harnessing can begin with this 5 minutes of silence every day. Harnessing can begin with being. I came from 50,000 questions, Chris. Somebody who has been 23 years in the most chaotic industry of film industry, somebody who has partied every single day of my life last 18 years, why will any sane person come to me for spiritual guidance? Why? Why would they even believe that I can give them spiritual guidance? And I had this inner conflict and question for many months in my meditation every single day, until a point that I got a cognizant answer while in meditation once, that when you buy a car, do you take care of itself or the car takes care of itself? So I'm answering that I take care of my car. And it came the same way. If you are utilized as a vehicle for larger work, then the one who has put you there will look after it. You don't have to worry. You have to do your part to keep the conduit clean. Fuel, this, that, tires, everything. Let the power who has put you there look after it. And when a cab driver is driving, he doesn't know the next passenger, and the passenger doesn't know which cab driver will come. So when anybody's divine timing is due for learning, guidance, or healing, they will be brought to you or you will be taken to them, wherever you may be. And that was the last time that that question ever came in my spirit or my heart. So believing in what you are doing, believing and anchoring yourself in it, that I'm already there. Even if it is not, it's not fooling. It's not, I don't advocate the fake it till you make it and all of that. I'm not saying that. But it is, if I want to, energy works like that. If I want to go from A to Z, then I have to already feel every day that I'm at Z, but yet do my pragmatic work to walk towards Z. and then I'll be able to reach him. But if I am firefighting every day that I cannot reach Z, I cannot reach Z, oh, how will I reach? Oh, it's that far. Oh, Chris reached Z already. I'm here only still. Then whatever work I may do in my pragmatic world, it'll never help me reach there. And that's the law of the universe. That's no rocket science as such. That's how energies work. And the last would be to test and verify these small experiments to confirm intuitive insights before major commitments. So a simple practice that I used to do for trying to know that when cognizant answers used to come to me or messages used to come to me, I used to practice with a book. And I would open up the book, and supposing I know that there are 500 pages in the book, I would just ask myself, okay, is this number, whatever I've opened, between 1 to 100? Yes, no. Yes. Okay. Is the number between 101 to 200? No. So whatever I get, I keep doing, keep doing. Now, if I've narrowed between 1 to 100, I will ask, is it between 1 to 20? Is it between 21 to 40? Is it between 41 to 60? And then right at the end, whatever number, I would see whether I am at that number, near that number. And trust me, over practice, for me to have more and more faith in the messages, not only that the messages manifested, they did manifest drastically right in front of my eyes for me not to believe them. But the practice of opening up our inner channels of intuition, whereby my decision-making capabilities, that no, I have to leave the job, come what may. I didn't know where the next penny will come from. I'd just come out of a huge debt. I'd sold my house. I didn't have a job in hand. And that's when I left. So it was not spirituality of having father's money or husband's money and saying, oh, now I have questions. Who am I? And I want to go into the wild and ask these questions to the heavens. That wasn't so. So when we are put in that squeezing position, and that's where we start having, and that's where the word faith comes in. That faith is not when I can see everything hunky-dory. Faith is when I cannot see the next step, and I yet put my foot forward. And that's what building intuition will do. It'll build resilience. It'll build our capabilities to make correct choices and decisions. It will help us to see through people and situations with its underlying truth, so that we are not, today entrepreneurs can also be lured with fancy offers. Oh, I will give you this much money and this will be done and that will be done, right? Or false promises that vendors may give. But a spirit-led entrepreneur will see through and have this gut feeling, no, I don't think something is right here. I don't want to work. And I always say that when there is a conflict of choice, should I do it or should I not do it? Constantly, then not do it is the choice. That's why you're getting that conflict inside you.
Yeah. Awesome. Great answer, Roshani. And it's unfortunate we've run out of time. Really love to have you back again. So I'll chat with you off stream if possible.
Sure.
And
I'm happy to do a part 2 of it.
Yes. Yeah, so this was just part 1, guys. No, really great session with you, Roshani, and you're sharing so much. It's memorizing for me, to listen and to take in heartfully and soulfully what you are saying, because I do really resonate with that, and I think majority of our audience also resonates. I mean, we got many claps and many hearts, so that was awesome. But yeah, guys, we'll definitely catch up again with Roshani, and I just want to say thank you again, Roshani, for being here with us. And
do we have time if anybody wants to just ask 1 or 2 things? Do we have time so I can interact with them rather than just have faces there?
Yes. No, that's all good. Let me just finish the session, stop the recording, and
yeah, sure.
So thank you, everyone, the live listeners, the live viewers, and then those that are listening offline. This has been a great session. We'll catch up again with Roshani, and thank you for joining us. I hope you guys have a great week ahead.
Thank you. You too, Chris. And thank you once again, everyone, for holding space and being there together to go through this session and heartful sharing from my end.
Yeah. Thanks, Roshani.